Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy. We're here with Katrina from Survivor Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers.
Hi, Katrina. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm pleasure to be here.
How were you chosen to be on Survivor?
Well, I sent in a video last year, and from there I got a call, and I was so happy to get that call because I was excited to be able to take part in this amazing show. And after that call, they sent me to a week in Los Angeles where I basically was sequestered in a hotel room for that week while they would see other potential contestants at the lunchroom, if you will, but you can't talk to anybody. And then we did psych evals, medical tests, all that kind of stuff. And, so after that I got a call, and away to Fiji I went.
Awesome.
So what did you do to prepare yourself to be on Survivor?
What did I do to prepare myself? Well, I have two children, 11 and 10, who are very into the games and insisted that I watch all these videos. So I knew how to make fire. I knew how to take the bamboo and slice it to make it more like a springy air mattress, if you will. It's not quite like an air mattress, but better than it would have been. And we live on a lake in Minnesota, but we also have a pretty little slight hill going down to the lake. So even though it was still snow on the ground, I'd run up and down the hill a lot to make sure my butt was in good shape. Because my background's a swimmer, obviously, but swimmers don't usually have a lot of glute muscles, comparatively, I should say, to track people. But yeah, no, I'm still very strong. Like I can pound out 10 pull-ups or like 50 push-ups, no problem, like that kind of thing. And I can run, and I can do lots of things. So I knew physically I wasn't worried about it at all. And so I prepared also too in just terms of we watched another show again, and I remember actually going back to watch the season 1, and boy, oh my, Jeff has changed, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
He was so mellow and like almost reserved and quiet, mm-hmm. And now he can get in people's faces. So it's interesting to see the changes there. But yeah, no, that's kind of a little summary of it.
So what was your shelter like, and what type of food sources did you have available around your camp?
Well, so I loved where we lived. I mean, I'm so glad you asked that, because I feel like a lot of times we don't get to see that on TV very much. And basically, we were like on this peninsula with ocean on both sides and with a sandbar in between. And we were kind of probably like, I don't know how high up, maybe 20, 30 feet off the ground, like from the ocean, if you will. And so we had built our shelter in a tree house, like a tree house. I loved it. We had these 3 trees. We used the trees to kind of use as our frame. And we, worked really well as a tribe, actually, and building our shelter, and then making the palms so that we had a nice roof, and gorgeous sunsets and sunrises. And, of course, the ocean waves, hearing those at night was just beautiful.
And what type of food was around camp?
Oh, yeah, the food. So we were fortunate, after our reward challenge, we had 6 crates of food, which is a lot compared to, I know one tribe only had 1, I think, or 2. And so we had these big avocados, we had mangoes, obviously there's coconuts around camp. There's all these hermit crabs running around the ground. There's fish you can catch in the ocean. There was other bigger crabs that were also around the island. The island that we were on was about, maybe a mile long, or not quite. And I don't know how wide it was because there was big rocks on the one side. But anyhow, so there's quite a bit of food if you're looking. These hermit crabs were all over the place. But, I was always so worried about seeing snakes out there. No snakes, no spiders. I was good. Those are the kind of things I was worried about.
Hey, we want to get your impressions and maybe have you shed some additional insight on your tribe mates,
Sure.
Given your time out there. Let's start with Alan. What did you learn about Alan while you were there?
So Alan and I actually had it a few times. So I was one of the people who oftentimes went with somebody else to go get the water. We'd use a stick and then put the pot on it so we could both carry it back. Mm-hmm. And basically, he and I talked sports quite a bit just because of my Olympic background, his sport background. And I didn't know the extent of his pro by any means, but I knew he was an elite athlete. And I felt really, that side of him really had some nice conversations.
And had you observed that sort of erratic side of him at all while you were out there?
Oh, yeah. Including the strip search, yes.
Okay, so you were aware that all went down, huh? You saw that too?
Yeah, so what happened was Ashley and I were talking on the beach for like 15 minutes maybe. We don't have a watch out there, so I don't know exactly. And then after that, Alan, he tells me after the fact that he really got nervous that she and I were talking so long. And, of course, on Survivor, anytime somebody's talking, it's bad, right? And so then he said to Ashley and JP, Katrina told me you guys have the idol. And so basically, of course, now they don't know if they can trust me anymore. And then he comes over to Ben and tells him, Katrina told me this. And then Ben, is that true? So all this, and then, of course, the strip search happens. So there's a whole other thing that happens where I, call Alan out on that, say, hey, well, why'd you use my name kind of thing. This is not true, because obviously these people might then not trust what I'm actually about. And so that kind of all, but I've also, obviously with Survivor, all these things happen all the time, right? There's so many random things that happen. And the key is, obviously, with me only being out there 3 days, it wasn't long enough for people to know who I really am beyond their own perception of me. And so, I think it's hilarious that I didn't know about the mom squad. That's hilarious. I think Chrissy was more concerned about being a mom and older. But, to me, I didn't even think twice about that, until that time when I was out there and Chrissy was telling me this. So I'm kind of like, who cares what age we are? Like, I know I'm capable of doing stuff. Shout out to all those moms out there who are powerful human beings who do a lot of amazing things raising kids, because it's one of the hardest jobs out there.
What did you think about Ashley? What did you learn about her while you were out there?
So Ashley is interesting. She was in my finals week, and she was seemed like she always had a scowl on her face, never really that happy. And yet, with that being said, I see this younger woman who is finding her way in life and can be really tough, and yet at the same time has a very sweet side, too. I really like Ashley. I feel like she has a lot of good going for her.
What about Ben?
Ben's a nice, sweet, he's I feel like he's a loyal, earthy, good guy. And, but, he wasn't so really able and wanting to play. Like, he was kind of overwhelmed by, oh, my gosh, we have to actually go to tribal council? And he was hoping we'd win, 10 in a row if you could.
Mm-hmm. What about Chrissy?
Chrissy's very nice. I had some nice conversations with her. Real conversations. I really wanted to see if we could work together, because I really believe in this game, when you're older, there's only been 3 people, I think, in the whole time of Survivor where they over 40 who win. And so, purely numbers, you want to make sure that those people stay around to help you. Even though I knew she didn't really want to work with me, because I think she was threatened by the fact that, oh my gosh, I think she in her head it was either her or me, and in my head it really wasn't. Like, hey, it doesn't have to be that. You can change your thinking on that. For me, I thought, anything's possible with this game. Anything. Because of that, I tried to work with her, but I don't think she was totally willing because of that fear of hers. So with that being said, obviously, it's interesting how they show us working together so much, because it wasn't really that way.
Okay.
We did hang out and talk and have fun and that kind of thing, but it wasn't like it was just her and me.
Gotcha. What about JP?
JP, I like. He's a hardworking, quieter type. A lot of people in the tribe didn't really feel like they could talk to him, but I had some nice conversation. I remember when I told him about being in the Olympics. He was telling me about being a firefighter, and some cool stuff. I think long term, he and I could have done some, been together as a unit to work together. He's a solid, good guy. I don't see him being a manipulative jerk or anything like that. He would have been a good guy to be aligned with. And I had talked to him about aligning with him, and then after the Alan thing happened, he wouldn't even talk to me the last day. The thing about that tribal, too, I actually say, because Jeff has something, and I'm like, I told the whole thing that happened. Nobody wants to talk about even what happened. Nobody wants to discuss it. And so I'm like, well, this is what happened. I said exactly what I just told you, I'm talking to Ashley and all that kind of stuff, right? And I said, and now JP won't even talk to me, and, this kind of thing. And it was obvious. It was just it was so obvious. It was funny. It was kind of funny. So, and then Alan, so I said, Alan told me, I said, you maybe you'll see it on tape, but basically he apologized to me for using my name, and he got paranoid, but he was trying to get everybody to think he just did it on purpose. This is really real. They have this idol, right? So, because I think he was just trying to cover. And so, and so he actually wigs out beyond what you saw last night. There's another whole section that's not on here.
Oh, wow. What happened then?
Well, that's what I said. Well, and this is what I just sort of stated the facts and said that Alan had apologized to me for this happening, that he got paranoid. He didn't like the fact that I did that, obviously, because he wanted that to be a secret. There was a lot of secrets. No one wanted to talk about the truth in our tribe. It was like everybody wanted to pretend that everything was fine and that we're all good and that, we're supposed to be the heroes. We're supposed to win all the time. And, it was a very different energy compared to, the reality.
Who did you have the most trouble dealing with while you were out there?
I don't know if there's any one person necessarily, because I had good connections with each person at different times, and very real ones, I talked to each person at some point about the game or, not. I remember one time before, but 4 or so of us were talking, and we knew 3 of us were like, oh, our names, we knew our names were potentially on the chopping block. And I remember Ben was the only one I think that nobody was thinking about. So yeah, there's times where we had some real conversation, but in general, as a group, it was pretty armor-like, lots of armor on people.
Were there any more secrets you can let us in on?
About the future? I can't tell you about the future.
No. No. Any more secrets your tribe had?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
How did you feel about being on the Heroes tribe?
Well, at first when Jeff said that, I was just like, oh, gosh. Because to me, like, the Olympics to me is like 29 years ago. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I know I'm very physically capable, but in my last 30 years, I've started internet companies. I've been a corporate executive. I'm a therapist. I work with athletes. There's so many things I do that I'm a mom, I'm a wife. I mean, there's so many things I do beyond that I'm hoping that by the time the day I die, that yes, that swimming was a big part of my life, and I love all my Olympian friends. At the same time, with that being said, there's so many other facets of me that I've done already, and I'm grateful for that. I'm really lucky. So there's a part of me that was hoping to be on the Healer once I knew the 3 tribes. But I also see that we are all much bigger than all of those things. We all could be a hero. We could all be all these different things. And if we get too attached to what a label is put on us, it can stifle us, right? And so I'm very into being open to what's possible for all of us. And, we're all much bigger than these roles that we can walk around in these bodies in this lifetime, if you will.
Let's go to the immunity challenge. How did the heroes decide which puzzle maze to choose?
Before the actual challenge, Jeff takes each group through runs through just so you know what the course is. So you actually walk it through pretty quickly. And at that moment, he tells you if you get to here first, you're going to be the first one to pick. Second person gets the second one, that kind of thing. And so in that moment, I remember I had said something like, I would have picked the simple one.
Yeah.
I remember JP really wanted to do the complicated one. And so at that point, you're thinking, if you're in the game 39 days, you don't want to be the one trying to make a big stink about having it be a certain way, right? And so I just let it be and just said, let's work as a team. And, okay, if he wants to do that, let's just go for it. And so that's what people said, and everybody just kind of agreed. I don't really know what everybody else thought about that because I don't remember talking to anybody about that afterwards, specifically about the puzzle, why did we pick that one. But I do remember having a conversation before I went to the game because people were kind of getting worried and just saying something like, look, like, so often they try to blame one person for being the one that causes the problem, like if you would lose. And in the end, I mean, come on, most of the time, except for a few times when people purposely lose, people are trying, right? People are giving their best, and that's all you can really ask in some respects. I remember Chrissy going like, I'm so glad you said that, because it's kind of funny in hindsight because she actually ends up being the weakest link in some ways. And yet at the same time, if you can really value each team member, the team comes together. And I think that's when you watch like different Survivor episodes, when some of the teams like win several in a row, it's because that usually that tribe is gelling a lot better than our tribe really gels. Mm-hmm. Our tribe was very closed and very prideful and not really open to really true connection, if you will, what could be. And hopefully as the game goes along, these people can.
When did you realize that Chrissy was not feeling well and what was wrong with her?
My husband's an exercise physiologist. He used to be a college coach for swimming. So, and also being my own background, I honestly really think what happened is she probably just was not used to that much lactic acid in her system physically from the strain she probably put on herself to do the challenge. And I think she just threw up.
Did she return to normal after the challenge?
Yes, she was back to normal pretty soon. She, I think, took a little time to eat some stuff, but then did.
Who did you think you had an alliance with, and did you know you were being voted off going into tribal? Something seemed off there.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know, I think so we had a big party last night here in Minnesota, like we had like 150 people, and so many people were like, I don't get it, like what happened? And I feel like there was pieces missing, I guess, maybe, that would have maybe helped. But I think in some ways there could have been other people going home, but I personally knew that I was going home. It was like no question. I mean, I intuitively just felt it. You kind of know energetically when you're around people and how they're acting. After the Allen thing happened, JP wouldn't even talk to me, like I said. And I remember being out in the ocean with him when we got back from the challenge, and he just like ducking underwater, trying to hide from me. And I was just laughing. I'm like, okay, fine, I get it. You don't want to talk to me. So I even said something like that to him. I'm like, fine, you don't need to talk to me. You don't want to talk. Obviously, you don't want to talk. I mean, stuff like that happens. It's just interesting.
So when did you find out about the super idol, and why do you think Chrissy didn't save you with it?
Well, I don't think she was feeling like I was a competition to her rather than an ally from the very beginning when we got on the rewards boat. So, I mean, yeah, a lot of people have asked this, and it's like, well, no, she wouldn't use the idol for me because she doesn't want me in the game with her. She'd rather feel like she's the only one that's that age, I think. So I think she had this whole thing about the age thing, which really wasn't on my radar. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think she would have even considered it.
Did you know she had it?
No, I didn't know at the time if she had it, but I found out after.
Was there anything you wish had been shown about you that we didn't get to see?
Oh, my God, lots of stuff. I mean, there's so many pieces of me that are not even in this. I mean, first of all, so many things even that did happen. 3 days are not even aired. Obviously, Jimmy meditated when she got on the beach in the morning, and I looked for the idol for like 2 hours, which was a whole event in itself. And like this crab came, jumping out at me on this tree. I just like to see the footage. It'd be kind of fun to see the footage. There's times where I was really connected with these people. And I don't think I said more than 1 or 2 words on the show last night, which is I can talk quite a bit. So, but I'm also a very good listener. I was actually quite quiet for those 3 days out there because the tribe was kind of quiet. So you try to mold yourself to the tribe, but you also have to be true to yourself. So it's I think there's a part of me that can be very intelligent. I am also very physically, not just a great swimmer, but I'm also very good at lots of physical things. I'm very athletic. There's a lot of things I think my tribe never really knew about me. Part of that's just having to go through the process and being open to changing their perception of people and how they look at the world, right? And then also just getting to know you better as time goes on. And it's always fun to watch the show over the long haul to see that change go on with people.
Did you have any injuries or health issues out there?
Oh, no. I felt energized. I felt great. We were eating good meals. We were making kind of like a stir fry. We had rice, and we were making cut up zucchini and carrots, and I don't know what else. So yeah, we were doing pretty well for 3 days anyway.
You said that you wanted to be able to get some healing energy when you went out there. Were you able to do that, and if so, how? Well,
I think I got that more after the show. I was forced to have to hang out and relax for like a month. So, but I really think the most powerful thing for me, really, on this whole, you don't see this from the TV perspective, is that I really got to embrace the people coming off the show after me. We had our own little tribe. That was that was more of my tribe than the actual tribe I was on.
How would you say your view of survivors changed after this experience, and how's your view of yourself changed?
Good question. I don't know if my view of survivors changed so much, other than I would say when you watch it on TV, the drama you see there is only for 40 minutes or whatever, whereas when you're living it 24/7, it gets, I'm sure, what I experienced too, it gets old. You can see where people could just, you want to get rid of somebody because they're just driving you nuts. I never felt like, anybody was driving me nuts. I felt sorry for Alan, if anything, for his freak out thing. And Ash, there were times where Chrissy got nervous or things like that happened. But I don't know, it's not like, I see in other games when I've watched them, where people eventually just kick somebody out because they're just being annoying. I get it completely because, who wants that around camp if you're tired and hungry?
What challenged you the most on the show?
What challenged me the most? I don't know. I actually didn't feel so, it was challenging, but it was fun. It was really fun. I love building our shelter, getting the food, getting the fire going. At night, we actually rotated through who was going to man the fire. We went and get the water. You go check out the tree mill. It becomes part of camp life, and then the challenges themselves are fun. And I think the thing probably was most challenging. Going to tribal council, could be a challenge in the sense that I'm going home, but I was also at peace with it. There's a part of me that just knew, and it's okay, and it's a game of Survivor, so this is what happens. 17 other people will be voted out, and one will be the winner. Of course, I sort of assumed I was going to win the thing, to be honest. So yeah, I was sad that I didn't get to play more of the game. But at the same time, like I said, I had this amazing experience after the fact. So it's all part of my experience there that was all really a great memory.
What's next for you?
So, I love doing, I've done I do interviews for people. I do kind of what you're doing sometimes. I end up mainly in the athletic world. I wouldn't mind doing more of that kind of stuff. We're working with people, but kind of getting the truth out of people. If I could have my dream job, it'd be like a mix of Barbara Walters and Ellen DeGeneres, and having people come on and getting the truth out of them and being able to, share at the same time, help people be more real with themselves and feel empowered while also being real. While also being truthful about who they really are.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Katrina, for sharing with us today, and good luck to you.
All right. Thank you. You guys too.
Okay. Take care.